Morning, guys, and happy Friday for me. By the time you see this, it'll be Monday, but today I am going to work on a lot of projects. We're supposed to be gone all weekend, um, and then next week is just start over. But so today I have so much that I'm working on, and I'll show you as I go through. I'm going to kind of keep it short. I know the videos have been getting a little long, and it's because I can't edit them yet. I just haven't made the time to figure it out, so I'm just uploading them the way they are. And so I'll probably end up working out here by candlelight. I don't know how many projects I have, but I do want to get some bulbs in the ground, but I need to finish moving dirt first. I'm going to show you that. So right over here, I'm going to finish moving the little bit of dirt that's over by the driveway. I'm going to get water going on there so that I can pull these weeds that are by the elderberry. And I'm going to, excuse the shadow. So this is a magnolia, and that's an elderberry. I need to get a second elderberry planted so that they can cross-pollinate and be able to provide fruit. So I need to get those weeds up, and I want to be able to work this dirt into the red clay dirt we already have and get some of those weeds up. So I want to get bulbs planted in here, and I also want to get one of my Litchfield Angel roses that's in a pot. I don't think they like being in pots very well, so I want to get those in here, and then I'm going to get started. Not today, but I'm going to get some of the autumn joy sedums started, and then I'm going to plant those in where the bulbs are, so that when the bulbs die back, I have summer and fall interest. So I'll make sure the tulips and irises will be the spring, and then we'll go into summer and fall interest. And then I think actually the rose is going to go about right here. But right in here where that shadow is going to be a project for next spring. So, and also the fence going in. So what I'm going to do first, well, after I mow the lawn, is I'm going to mark off where the fence posts are going to go. And then anything I plant right now shouldn't be affected by us putting those fence posts in, because I'm not putting in large shrubs or anything right now. The rose bushes are small. Anyway, so like I said, I'm going to get the lawn mowed so that I can get the water going in this small area, just enough to be able to work the surface of the ground. The tulip bulbs need to go down 6 inches. Daffodils, there's some really pretty apricot colored daffodils, and I'll show you when I get ready to plant them. And then I want to get that spinach that I bought from the nursery. I need to get that in the ground, and some onions in that one tomato bed. I was hoping to plant the onions in with the asparagus, but they don't play nice with each other, so I can't do that. So the spinach is going to go in there, and then the onions, what onions I can plant in that 3x4 space on that front bed that I pulled out the tomatoes. And then I'm just going to have to find homes for the rest of the onions, because they won't last until the other tomatoes come out. Anyways, so I'm going to get after it, and I'll see you in a little bit. So I'm taking a quick break real quick just to, I'm getting a pot of chili on the stove, using a lot of our own foods. So this is our onion and garlic. I had made fajitas this week, and so that's the rest of the flank steak. That already has all the, Southwest seasonings on it anyways. I had soaked beans in the pot, that's why there's that brown on there. But our tomatoes and tomato sauce. I'm going to hydrate some tomato powder here in a minute, and I'll show you that, to use for tomato paste. And some of our jalapenos, and then just regular chili seasoning. And I'm going to grab a quart of beef broth out of the pantry too, that's from our beef bones. So let me get that tomato paste out, and I'll show you that. And I'm not going to show you the whole process. You guys know how to make chili. So if anyone follows Jessica over at Three Rivers Homestead, I actually had learned this from Meg over at the Holler Homestead, and she told me she learned it from Jessica, and so I'll link both of their YouTube channels down below. But basically this is the pulp and the skins left over from processing tomatoes, and then you just dehydrate it and grind it into a powder, and then you rehydrate it. But yeah, this is basically zero waste from the tomatoes. And I did try it the other day with my sister-in-law. I did it with hot water and cold water to see how it would hydrate, and it hydrated fine with both types. So, and it's tomato paste out of the jar or out of a can. Has a tin type taste, or I guess metal type taste, even the one out of the glass jar, which is fine. We're all used to doing that. But this is very fresh tomato tasting. So pretty awesome stuff right there. And I just, every time I did a batch, I just added it until this jar was full. And then here's a quart of the beef bone broth that I did September 12th. From the bones that were left over from our last year that I had to get out of the freezer. So yep, just pressure canned it. There's a little bit of fat in there, but not too bad. I mean, it's sealed, and this is why you store jars without the rings on, is because you should be able to do that. That's, I mean, I'm no problem there. I'm going to try to do this one-handed, but this is about, if I had to guess, maybe a quarter cup of that tomato powder. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of water at a time, and just and this was using just a regular food dehydrator, not a freeze dryer. We don't have a freeze dryer in. We're fine with just doing things this way. But see? And then a little bit more. That does have a little bit of a more coarse texture to it than the tomato paste that, well, not really. I mean, it's not smooth like you get out of the jar, but I don't care. It doesn't bug me. It's going to go inside of there. No one's going to know. And it's only my husband and I eating it. So that right there's probably what I'd say half of one of those little jars or cans. So, and that was with very little filtered water out of the fridge. Okay, all the kitties are in the pool except for the tomato sauce. I decided to keep that out for right now. I added seasonings, which the chili, oh, and I used some of our pickled jalapenos. I know I mentioned earlier, but which had some juice to them too. Oh, that's my dog. He lays next to the stove and just moans. But so cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, and onion powder, and then mineral salt and regular coarse ground pepper. And then about half of this mixture, and then I'm just going to put it on simmer and let it cook while I go outside and work on that dirt project and planting bulbs project. And I might later add a beer, we'll see. I didn't add that many jalapenos also because this batch of pickled jalapenos I didn't take the cores out and the seeds, so they're a little on the they're a little hot. So you can always add it, but you can't take it out. So like I said, I'm going to let this simmer and cook down for a little bit and give it an hour or two and see what it tastes like. And go from there, and then I'll make some cornbread up tonight, and grate cheese and all that good stuff. So hopefully you guys like this part of things too. Not every video will have cooking or thrifting in it, but I do like to mix it up. And I plan on mixing it up. That way it doesn't become, I don't want to say boring, because some people subscribe to some channels just strictly for the content that they say they're going to post. Even though every once in a while they throw something in for fun, you know, or just, it's, you know, a fall day and I felt like having chili and it used up some meat that we were tired of eating on. We had gotten a pretty big flank steak from this deer, and a little went a long way on tacos and tostadas and that type of thing, even southwestern wraps for lunch. So it was time to be used in something else. So chili it is. I will show you in a little bit when I'm out there working on stuff. Right now I'm not going to show moving dirt and pulling weeds, but I'll show you in a little bit. Okay, I got this kind of filled in where I want it. That was a really low spot right where this is. I went and grabbed 3 of the irises that came up when I was printing irises. I'm going to plant them at the back of the bed. Actually, I think I'm going to plant them a little bit further out than where they were. These white dots mark 6 feet from the curb. As you can tell, that elderberry is beyond the 6 feet. And I remembered now, and the white dots are still okay as markers, but I remember now that we're actually, when we put in this fence, which is going to look like that fence right over there, it's going to, I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, there's a project going here, but then facing north, this right here is going to be like a straight run, and then it's going to start angling back that way, and it's going to start angling down that way. And I remember it's going to be on the other side of that elderberry. So those 6 feet marks are fine for me planting stuff and being out of the way of when we run the auger to dig the holes for them. So even if they disperse, that's fine. These, well, there's going to be one there, one there, one there, and one there for this project. Might get those holes dug and the boards put up first. But, oh gosh, hold on, I need to put my dog in. He sees his dad. Oh boy, I want to see how far down he runs. Oh, there's my husband coming in from fixing some tree cages around some trees where the cattle are going to be. Oh no, he's going to catch up to him. Yep. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to go down and get him. And then here are the bulbs I'm going to plant in here. I think I'm going to pick up a few more of those. Maybe. Only because the oranges and apricots, those are going to start off subtly down there. And they're going to increase all the way down. Because over here is where all the oranges, yellows, purples go into, because my husband's RC crawling course is going to have a lot of like desert themed and oranges and cactus and aloe vera and all that type of plants around his course. So I want the oranges and the apricots to slowly go into that area. So they'll have to, like I said, gradually, because the potager really doesn't have much as far as oranges go. Although that's not true. That sedum autumn joy and the calendula are out there. That's about it. So anyways, I'll make sure over time that this gets some of these colors in there. So I'm going to get these placed out and then get the holes dug and go from there. So what I did was I just opened up both bags and then I just tossed them. The only time I moved them is if they literally landed on top of each other or if they rolled down. Because I did slope this, because this is a runoff, so I don't want water coming back to this. Hope that makes sense. So when the sprinklers are on, this should give it enough water from overspray or just the downhill runoff with very little supplemental. Irises don't like a lot of water. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to do the daffodils. And the tulips ended up being Queen of Night and Annie. So if I want to order any additional, then I'll know what to order. Technically I have 3 bags, so 48 Queen of Night. So I think with the daffodils I also have 48. So I should be fine with this being a cute little bulb, you know, placement. And then I'll get the sedums planted. What I'll do is after the tulips die back in the spring, I'll come through and I'll mark the blank areas, like with a popsicle stick or something, and then I can plant sedums, because sedums don't start surfacing until about the time tulips die down or die back anyways. What I want is this to be a succession planting, and this will kind of go, I'll have this same kind of thing set up all along this whole curb area. But so yeah, I'm gonna get the daffodils thrown out there and show you what that looks like. So let's see. So the tulips, they want 3 to 5, 2 to 5 inches apart, and they grow 16 to 30 inches. Northern California, plant between October and December. The only thing I'm not doing these is pre-cooling them, only because we're going to be getting into the low 50s, high 40s over the next 2 weeks. So tulips usually don't do that well for us anyways, so we'll see. And then the replete daffodils, they are planting them down 3 to 6, spacing 3 to 6, height 12 to 18. So what I'm going to do is do 4-inch holes for all of them. My little shovel spade goes to 4 inches, has a 4-inch mark. I did do some intentional, like there's some groups of 3 on the daffodils. They're the more brown ones. And let's see, if they're a little too close, I might scooch it apart just a little bit. But, and see, like these 2 are touching, I'll move those apart. And then I did some 3 over there and 3 over there. So that'll be pretty with apricot, and then like an orange, and then the Queen of Night, they're like a blackish purple. And then, like I said, when everything dies back, I'll go through and put popsicle sticks, because these are going to be 4 inches down. So, and I'll know that when I'm planting things. But I'll put annuals through here. The sedum will come back every year. I am going to move the irises out quite a bit, because we can see how big they get. So I might just move them like halfway between there and where the fence line could possibly be. I think the fence line is going to end up going more that way. So that'll kind of go along the fence line, and that's what will eventually be along the fence line. Not counting roses or the occasional shrub. Now, a lot of this area is going to be left blank, because that willow grows 50 feet wide. So 25 feet from the radius all the way around. So that's going to darn near come out to where that fence line is anyways, and then all the way over to here. Like I said, I have a feeling this is going to get crowded at one point, but I'll have to trim the willow. I think the willow way out there, that one right there, I think it has blight, because it's darn near dead. But we will keep this on check as best as we can. So I've just been doing a little weed patrol. In the meantime, I did bring out some preen and some Captain Jack's deadweed. So we will, or I will, get these going. So what you do, is I'm going to dig the hole, and then that's the bottom, and that's the top. So I'm going to go down 4 inches and sink that down. This obviously you can see the roots, but pointy end faces up, and then 4 inches down. So where they lay, that's how I'm going to do it. And you should try to keep the skins on them the best you can, but most of these were off in the bag. I could try to recover them, but they were kind of brittle. So this is going to take me a little bit. And then when I'm done, I'm going to cover it with some wood mulch. They say not to do preen when you plant stuff. So I'm going to wait probably 30 days and then I'll sprinkle preen. Because preen is for weeds, not plants. You can actually do it around plants and it doesn't get into the roots and kill them. Actually, some of the preens come as a weed and feed. So I'm going to get these going, and I might show you one or two real quick, and then I'll get after it. So this is my little shovel, and I'll just go down to there and plop them in. I'm not going to cover them up until I'm all done, just so I remember where everybody's at. So as I'm digging down, I mean, this fresh dirt that I put in there is it's pretty much at the 4-inch mark. So what I'm doing is just wiggling it and then pushing the bulb down in there. As you can see, the tops of that one, where is it? Top of that one, and then it's inadvertently filling in the hole next to it. So I'm not going to fight it while I'm doing it just to film. There's 4 of them. So I think you guys get the gist. And I think what I'll do at the very end, because this is getting pretty long from everything I've filmed already, is I'm going to show you when it's all done and I have mulch on top of it. It's going to be just this section and it's going to look like crap around it. Oh, I might do where the rose bush is going to go, right over there. But that's just, you just kind of have to ignore the mess around it and just enjoy the beauty right in front of you. Because if I were to focus on all these weeds all the time, I'd be pretty down. And I'd be out here on just weed control literally hours every single day. And I can't do that. So I just have to kind of give myself some grace and do what I can and just enjoy that I know this is going to be beautiful come springtime. Okay guys, so I went ahead and got the spinach planted here, and I got about, maybe 30 or so white onions planted here. They are the Sierra Blanca, matures in 95 days. So maybe by February or so we'll have white onions. So now I just have to find a spot for the rest of the white onions and all of the red onions. And then I'm going to show you after I mulched where the bulbs were. Okay, this is, I got a layer of mulch in. So I am done. It's all watered in. And I'm going to take a break, but I don't think I'm going to video anymore for now. I have a lot of little stuff to do inside and a few more things to do on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Please remember to always be kind and do what makes you happy.